Hey y'all, happy Saturday. I just wanted to hop on here today because I had a message yesterday, but my day was just so busy I wasn't able to actually get on here. But today I kind of have to because Spirit gave me a message that I've kind of been struggling with, if I'm being honest. I went to sleep the other day and I asked Spirit to give me the truth that makes me uncomfortable. Don't give me the truth that keeps me in comfort. And I said that before I went to bed. And then I woke up the next morning and I was getting a really big download. And I did not want to believe what I was being told because it actually was really personal to me. And I was like, no fucking way that I did not see this. Um, but apparently it's true. And I'm just going to move with it because I think that I've spent a lot of my life going against my truth and trying to talk myself out of what I'm receiving. And I'm in this place right now where I have to move with it, you know? And so um, I think I understand what actually happened and how we got to the place that we are now. Hey, Kelly, how we got to the place that we are in now. And so what I want to do is just kind of give you this as an alternative truth to what is happening in society today or what happened in this place a long time ago. Um, I have been given the go ahead to talk about this, and I literally, when I say I did everything not to get on here and have this conversation, I did everything. And my spirit team keeps saying, no, you need to say it, you need to say it, because we don't realize that whenever we express the truth, we collapse timelines. And so I feel like I have a duty to talk about what I'm picking on and what I'm picking up on and what I think actually happened. Because certain things are just kind of like sticking in my head that I can't get away from. And they also gave me examples in real life that made me be like, oh, y'all motherfuckers might be on to something. And so I kind of want to talk about that today. And so I don't even know where to start, y'all, because I was going to start with my own personal story, but I don't have no proof of my personal story. So I don't want to start there. What I'm going to do is give you what I was getting. And then we can kind of just work through it together because as soon as I got this message yesterday, I only told one person, and it's because me and her have like similarities in our personal experience that point to this. And so when I did that, I started getting confirmation. Like I got on TikTok, I scrolled through, and it was a girl who was on here doing a channel message, and she said exactly what the fuck I had been picking up on. And she was doing like a message to people, like, "Oh, this is what happened." Da, da, da. And I was like, "What are the fucking odds that I would hop on the internet for the first time, for the first time, and you be talking about what I kept denying all fucking day?" So I thought that was interesting. So I'm just gonna start where I start. Sorry, I'm having a hard time. I'm gonna start where I start because I honestly feel like the thing that is standing in my way is like I know that this sounds crazy. I know that this sounds fucking bonkers. However, comma, it just gonna have to be what it is. All right. So, anyways, um, yesterday when I went to the gym, I started getting this message about like you remember, I don't know if y'all have been watching these podcast episodes that I've been doing on live, but last week I was talking about how they stole our spiritual inheritance, right? And I was talking about how these uh societies, okay, stole our spiritual inheritance. And I was thinking like that it had more to do with like the spiritualists on this app who are pretending to be connected to the real thing when really they have not done their shadow work. They have not done any of the work to be sitting in the position that they sitting in, but they using magic to basically force things to happen on their behalf. And so I thought it was exclusive to that and that only. But what they started talking to me about was the entertainment industry, right? Because they started talking to me about how like they say, oh, the devil or Lucifer like rules over music, right? And Lucifer actually is the first light. Like Lucifer was not who we think Lucifer is from some studies that I did a long time ago. But he has been demonized because he was over music. And so they wanted you to associate Lucifer and Satan, Lucifer and the devil as the same thing, when they are not the same thing. But if you associate them, then they are the same thing. Kind of like the thing that I was talking about, Saturn being the goddess energy, and how they tell you that Saturn is the planet of restrictions and limitations, so that you hate Saturn, in turn hating the divine feminine energy. It's the same thing. Like, these people, what they use is reverse psychology, is what they were telling me, and what I was telling y'all the other day. And so when I was in the gym, and I'm talking about I'm mid workout, I had to stop and type this out. And so I got the reason why singers who can actually sing don't really have good careers in the music industry is because they're stealing their spiritual inheritance, which is our abundance. Our abundance comes through the goddess energy, which is Saturn. And they are worshiping Saturn. They're worshiping the goddess energy. It's the same thing as them worshiping the Black Madonna, you know? And so what's happening is they are feeding the energy to these entities, okay? What we don't understand about ourselves is that this is a living library. If anything, and what's crazy about that is that every single star system from every galaxy needed a place to put their memory, okay? It had to be a water planet, because water is feeling and water holds memory. And so Earth, every single thing in Earth is conscious, because every single thing in Earth holds memory. Like, I know you can go outside and you think that there's air passing you, but that's water vapor. Like, water has 3 states: gas, liquid, and solid, right? We don't realize that we are literally in water, okay? And so that means everything holds memory, okay? The Akashic records are here. There are 12 libraries here. And so if any being wants to learn about their history or anything like that, they have to come through us, okay? Now, those of us who contain melanin, which is Earth's energy, we contain that memory in our body, okay? And so what is happening is that some of these spirits, because we're spirit embodied into matter, the difference between us and them is that we have a physical body and we can walk this dream world, because this is actually a dream world, okay? And we are supposed to be dreaming the library into existence, meaning like we have our dreams, we get messages, we come and we speak about them. Like, we are a point of conscious awareness where the unseen becomes seen again, right? And the more that we remember, the more that we bring forward, the more access people, beings, star beings, whatever they have, right? And so we are considered to be kind of like the library cards. And what that means is that we can embody other spirits in our body. We just need to step back and we can allow them to merge with us, and they can look through our eyes. They can live through us. Okay. Now, that used to be a common practice back in the day, meaning like when Black people used to channel down deities, like the oracles, whatever. They used to channel down other energies that would basically step into their body. Right. Right. The issue is that we have lost this knowledge because we were intentionally disconnected from this knowledge, so that these spirits that wanted to spiritual bypass, meaning like they did not want to have to ask for our consent, because they knew that we would say no. And so what they did is they enslaved us. Okay. They brutalized us. They did all these things until we forgot, because trauma buries memory. Okay. Trauma is very heavy. You know, you would know this if you dealt with sadness, your chest gets really heavy. You know, if you dealt with grief, it gets really heavy, you know? And so what they did is they buried us underneath our trauma, because they couldn't actually disconnect us from the thing. We don't realize that we are the stewards of Earth. The reason how I know we are the stewards of Earth is because melanin is Earth's energy. Okay. Melanin stabilizes you. It is what keeps you connected to Earth. The magnetic intimacy or gravity that they're always talking about comes through melanin. Melanin is the reason why you're here. Right. And so if you don't have melanin, you can't survive here. And so everybody here has melanin. It's just the level of melanin that you have. Right. They went through this whole thing, which were the polarity experiments. And what they were trying to do is figure out how they could control us. And so what they did is these star systems came in and they tried to create their own bodies. Okay. And they started removing the melanin, because melanin is what remembers. Earth is what remembers. So if they connect the melanin, you don't have the memory anymore. Okay. And so what they did is they tried to pull the melanin out, and that's how we get these white body beings. Okay. That's how we get them, is because they try to pull the melanin out. those bodies can be easier controlled. Those bodies are more spirit than they are matter. Okay, matter is what stabilizes you, and so they can be easily controlled. I don't say that to offend anybody. That is the truth that I am coming to. Okay, that's the truth that I am coming to. Okay, matter is darkness, spirit is light, physical light that we can see, when really in our reality darkness is the true light. Everything springs from the dark. Okay, so that means they come from us. That's why when they get out in the sun, a lot of times their skin is going to burn, right? Our skin doesn't burn in the same way as theirs because we have melanin. Melanin is a superconductor of consciousness. And what happens is the sun is reading us. The sun will read us based on where we are, like the melanin in our skin, and the sun will send out information that we need. Okay, Earth also reads us through pee, through poop, through our menstrual cycle, through our spit, whatever it is, any of our bodily fluids, our water, our internal waters, Earth will read that as a frequency and send out what we need. And that's why if somebody is sick, sometimes they'll see like dandelions start popping up in their yard. Like Earth is literally reading you and the sun is literally reading you as well. Okay, but also Saturn, because so what you got to understand about ancient Egypt is ancient Egypt studied the sun in the sky, okay, the one that we see, right? And so what these people decided when they turned their back on Egypt, because Egypt was studying death, they were studying the dead because they were trying to figure out where we go after this, okay? And so they did a lot of work in astral projection. So if you read the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, like these ancient civilizations were studying the dead because they were trying to figure out the mysteries of life. The only time you can figure out the mysteries of life is if you study death. And so they were dying while they were still alive. And that could look like out-of-body experiences, astral projection, remote viewing, anything of that sort, right? And so what happened is that they were still kind of like in temples and stuff like that. And then religion popped up. And when religion popped up, which is religion came from patriarchy. It came from men trying to disembody women who were fully in their body, fully connected with nature. Think Empress energy, right? We could not be controlled because we remembered everything. And they were terrified of us because we could do things that they could not explain. And they did not have the same access to us, to the unknown that we have. And so if they wanted to know about the mysteries of life, they had to come through us, right? They did not like that. Everything started because of womb envy. And so they tried to create their own shit. So we had the temples. They tried to create religion. Okay, that was their own form of having a temple. And that's why most religious leaders are males, right? And because religion came from patriarchy. Women were spiritual. And so that was kind of open to everybody. Yeah, they had they little small quarters on the inside, but they basically infiltrated us. Okay, they raped us, they unalived us, they enslaved us. We were the first enslaved. They enslaved us. They took our temples and said they were temples of the gods. And so the Hercules temple, the Vatican, all of those were the temples of the prophetess. Those were our temples. They just said, oh, these were of the ancient gods. Okay. Now, the reason why they're doing that is because, again, most of them have bodies that could be infiltrated, right? And they didn't realize that there are very, very intelligent beings here who wanted to colonize us in a way. Okay. They operate off of this very Mars type of energy, which is war. Okay. The beings that brought war here, those is who they was worshiping. They was worshiping those beings instead of the goddess energy, because we used to worship the goddess energy, meaning earth. We used to worship earth. They worship the sun. Okay. Which is purely masculine. What we worship earth was purely feminine. Okay. They didn't want that. They wanted to worship the sun. That's how we get Jesus. His name was Jess first in the 14th century. Then he became Jesus with Constantine. Okay. Now, when the West emerged, meaning like the only reason why these people came over to Turtle Island or they came over to North America is because they did not want to be in religious structures anymore. Okay. They said they didn't want to study the unknown anymore. And so what they did is they ran because they were Protestants. They were being killed. They were being unalived because Christianity. I mean, y'all know what the fuck Christians are like. Y'all know them motherfuckers is crazy. They was running up in their house, burning their books, slapping crosses to their head, talking about repent, 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 cutting their body and telling them they need to sacrifice. These motherfuckers are crazy. Okay. So what they did is they ran and they came over to America. When they came over to America, they decided instead of studying or instead of worshiping the life giver, which is the sun, the life giver, which is the sun, they wanted to worship the black sun. Okay. The black sun is Saturn. This is in ancient texts. You can look this up. The black sun is Saturn. And so what I think, right, or what I believe, because we have three wombs, because the universe is inherently feminine. Everything is inherently feminine. Argue with your mama. I don't have time for that shit. Okay. And so what I believe is, you know how they always showing us that picture of like Earth like this, and then it's the sun over here, the moon over here, and then there's a black sun down here. And then that's the little cross that they do for like the masonry. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Y'all seen this before. This will be Earth, this circle in the middle. This will be the sun, that will be the moon, that will be the black sun at the bottom, coming up through here. Okay? Now, what I understand is that this is the positive polarity, the sun. Okay? This is the negative polarity, which is Saturn. Now, the negative or dielectric energy, magnetism, which if you look it up, Saturn has a magnetic atmosphere. It is the darkest and the coldest planet. Darkness and coldness is feminine. Okay? It's dielectric energy, which is magnetism. Okay? Earth, I believe, is the nucleus. The nucleus is where these two things meet. Both of these things exist at the same place in this void. Okay? And so we can consider Earth as like the void womb. So when we talk about us being spirit and matter, and us being the point where spirit and matter meet, we meet here on Earth. Okay? Because this is spirit, this is matter. Okay? This is the void womb. This here is the fire womb. This is where we get our awareness from. This is where we get consciousness from. This down here is the water womb. Okay? This is where we get our ancestral memory. This is where we get the memory of what was. This is where we get ancient memory. Okay? The moon is a mirror. We can, listen, friend, we'll be back to that later. Let's stay on track. Okay? And so when the people from the West decided to leave Egypt, they said, I'm not studying this sun no more because that is what they're studying. I'm going to study this sun. Okay? But these were ignorant people. They didn't realize that this sun that they studying, Saturn, and this is why the elites study Saturn, is the goddess energy that they keep demonizing in religion. And so they take these patriarchal religious beliefs and they come to the black sun and they say Saturn is masculine. You know why they say Saturn is masculine? Or have y'all ever heard them say, oh, Saturn is the father, it's restrictions, it's what limitations, it's Capricorn. Saturn is the father, is what they tell you. That is untrue. Because if you look, there are natural rhythms in nature. Natural rhythms. Okay? Everything that is dark and cold is feminine. Everything that is hot and bright is masculine. Okay? So that does not match with the rhythm of Earth. There is no way that Saturn can be masculine because it is a feminine. It has feminine qualities. It is magnetism. You can go look it up. It has a magnetosphere. Okay? Magnetism is feminine. So they don't know that they've been worshiping the goddess energy, even though they're demonizing it at the same time. They don't know that. And they call something ancient here, but that's a whole nother story. We can talk about that today. So sorry. I think it was due to the mythology of Kronos. All right. So these people study Saturn, okay? And they're worshiping Saturn. But they don't realize they created all these secret societies because, again, this is masonry. This is what the Masons use. This is the masonry, okay? I want to be clear about that. This is masonry. This is secret societies. They don't realize they've been worshiping the goddess. So what they've been doing is sacrificing the goddess back to herself. And they thought that they could do trickery because, again, they operate based off of reverse psychology. Yes, true. I do believe that they know. But they thought that they could operate off of reverse psychology. Well, we'll just put it in the media. We'll just put it in their face. And if they agree with it, then we're good. Then karma gets to pass us. Karma gets to pass you. You mean to tell me? And what's crazy is the reason why they worship Saturn is because Saturn is karma. Cause and effect. Saturn. That comes from Saturn. And so they making offerings to Saturn because they're trying to avoid karma. It don't work that fucking way. So in these secret societies, masonry, they're doing sex magic. Why? Because this exists inside of us. Okay? The sun is your third eye. Okay? The sun is a portal. We are not actually looking at the sun, we are looking at a portal. Okay, that portal leads to Neptune. Neptune is the spiritual light. Okay? Here. This earth is your heart space. Okay? If you take earth and you take the H off and put it at the front, you get heart. If you take the H off of heart and put it at the back, you get earth. It's the heart space. That is here. That is the connection between these two polarities. The bottom is Saturn. Saturn is your womb. And so the reason why they need to rape you is because Saturn, the feminine, this is how they disembody you through Saturn's energy. They want to disconnect you from the goddess energy. And they are hoarding her energy for themselves. And they think because they keep making these blood sacrifices to her that they're going to get away with it. Bitch, your time is up. Okay? Now, these secret societies are using sex magic. And they're having big ass sex rituals. The reason why they're having sex rituals, again, is because Saturn is the womb. Okay? Our womb. So what they have been doing is they have been finding the goddess energy, women who have a bright light. We think that women who choose to love are the women that are weak. We think that women who have self-respect are the women who are weak. They don't want the submissive woman, okay? Because the submissive woman is not the goddess energy, not the Saturn energy, okay? She hasn't embodied her Saturn energy, okay? However, what they'll do is they'll go after the empath, okay? The one who can feel everything. Why? Because feeling is water. Feeling is Saturn, okay? And what they do, a lot of times they'll send in a Jezebel spirit. Y'all think Jezebel is a woman. No. Jezebel can also be a man who has embodied his feminine energy. You know, men who be like, oh, I want to worship you. Them ones. Warlocks. Okay? They send them in while you are unconscious. And what they do is they put that motherfucking shit on you. Okay? You know what the fuck I'm talking about. The Trojan horse that's going to get you straight up and through there. That's what they put on you. And that's part of the spell. That's part of the spell. Okay? And then what these men turn around and do, because they don't choose you. They're not going to choose the woman who is chosen. Instead, they're going to humiliate you. Why? Because these people love humiliation rituals. Okay? They're going to have a baby on you. They're going to get engaged to somebody else. They're going to do, I'm shaking. I'm physically shaking. They're going to do all these things to disembody you and say that you stay and you go against yourself and you abandon yourself over and over again. Okay? You end up unalived. And let me tell you, The example they gave me was the comedian. Okay. This comedian has had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend went in for surgery, and she came out of that surgery, ended up passing away in a hotel room. He does a lot of Messianic symbology, a lot of it. Okay. And so what they're doing is sacrificing us, and they don't have to sacrifice you fully. Okay. They don't have to sacrifice you fully. Don't put no names in my chat, y'all. Don't put no names in my chat. Don't do that. Okay. If you know, you know. Okay. If you know, you know. It is really dark. It is really dark. I ask for the truth, not the truth that makes me uncomfortable. I mean the truth that keeps me comfortable, the truth that makes me uncomfortable. And this is what I woke up to. And it was hard for me to process this because they showed me where it showed up in my fucking life. And that pissed me off so fucking bad. I could have leveled this bitch. But they told me that I stand at the threshold. I'm supposed to look towards the dark. I'm supposed to look towards the light, but I'm not supposed to become either one of them. That is goddess energy. Neutral, the neutrality. Okay. Yes. Yes, you are. You are waking up because some of us have chosen to take the pain and crystallize it into power. Some of us refuse to be broken. Okay. And so what's happening is they will sacrifice you physically, or they will sacrifice you while you're still alive. Most of y'all don't realize that y'all have been sacrificed 1:33 on the clock while y'all are still alive. So what will happen is they do a humiliation ritual. They do something that completely gets you out of your fucking body. Okay. They devastate you. They traumatize you. Okay. Now, when you experience trauma, what happens is you can fragment, you can dissociate. Okay. Now it is harder to dissociate a melanated body. Okay. It is hard to dissociate a melanated body because melanin is Earth's energy. Earth is a stabilizer. Okay. So they have to traumatize you over and over and over and over and over again. Okay. But the reason why they need to traumatize you is because there is an entity that they have sacrificed you to that needs to merge with you. And so they need you out your fucking body, out your fucking mind, in your sadness. Okay. In your heartbreak, and not being able, in a place of suffering, and not being able to alchemize it so that this entity can come in and hijack your body. And sometimes they do it through sex. Sometimes they come through your dreams. Okay. And what they do is they connect to you. So those dreams that you be having where something is humping you, that. Okay. Now, I'm sorry, y'all. This pisses me off so bad. Okay. So you start getting spiritually attacked because that's the spiritual warfare. Okay. That's the spiritual warfare. You wake up to yourself. You wake up to your truth. This is part of me protecting y'all because you need to know. The truth is what collapses everything. You don't need to actually do anything. You need to speak your fucking truth. And that's why they've told you your voice don't fucking matter. You are to be seen and not heard. Okay. And so that's when the spiritual warfare starts. Okay. And we get scared and we get whatever. And the reason why we do is because they're trying to push us away from our gifts, because our gifts are on the other side of that spiritual warfare. The moment that we wake up to ourselves is the moment that the spiritual warfare starts. Sometimes you already have the attachment. Okay. Sometimes you already have the attachment. And so you'll go to a spiritual leader, right? And the moment that you get in that class, all of a sudden you start getting those thoughts that that person is against you, the paranoia, right? The fear, all of that. Sometimes y'all parents is in on that shit. That makes me sick to my fucking stomach. Sometimes y'all parents are in on that shit. Eastern Star, Messianic. They've sacrificed you before you even got a chance to walk your fucking path. Okay? And these people know how to wipe your memories, by the way. They just bury you in trauma. Okay. What you are meant to do is face the dark. What you need to understand with you being the dark goddess, okay, you being the goddess energy, is that it is intense, but you can carry this. Okay. I know I did it myself. I have a weird relationship to pain, and I know how creepy that sounds. Okay. But I don't feel pain in the same way that people feel pain. To me, it's weird. Like when I am going through something, I will go get a piercing. I will go get a tattoo. I will go do something like that. I have a weird relationship with it. Okay. Most of us don't realize that we are built for suffering because we came from the dark. That is our home place, but they've turned us against it. Okay. What you need to do is face yourself, because what I did when I was getting spiritually attacked, okay, is I listened to the voice and what the voice was saying, because I learned that that energy can only attach to like energy. Okay. And so you got to figure out where you vibrating low. You got to figure out where you got wounds. Okay. So whatever they're saying, they can only amplify because they're mimics. They can only amplify what you have not healed. And so for me, and I haven't even told y'all the half of the spiritual attacks that I was getting. I haven't even told y'all the half. And it was 2.5 years of psychological torture. And I know it looked like I carried it well, but there were moments where I was just like, what the fuck is happening to me? Okay. And I thought I was losing myself, but I kept fighting. You have to keep fighting. You are built for this shit. You're no stranger to the darkness. Okay. You come from it. So you have to ask yourself, what is the thing saying? Because that's what's enslaving you. Your mind is what they enslave. They only know how to do mental magic. So if you can get in your body, they cannot touch you. Okay? Your mind is always trying to figure something out. And that's why we live in a society that teaches you to operate out of your mind. Your mind is always trying to figure something out. Your body doesn't need to figure it out. It just needs to feel it. It just needs to exist beside it. So you got to stop treating your emotions like an inconvenience. When your emotions show up, that is a point for self-discovery. Okay? So let me show you something. Sorry, I'm really trying not to be mad about this, talking about this, because this pisses me off so fucking bad. Oof. All right, so let's say anger, because they tell you not to be angry, because anger is your defense mechanism showing up. And so if they can teach you that anger is hatred and that you're not supposed to hate anything or you're going to hell, they disable you before you even get a chance. All right. I'm drawing a picture. Just give me a second, y'all. So when you experience an emotion, it don't matter what this emotion is. We just going to say it's anger today. Okay. What you need to understand is the emotion is the start of self-discovery. Okay. The emotion has to come from your mind and down into your body. Okay. This is your body. Your body is a tunnel. Okay. The emotion needs to go this way. What most of us try to do is we try to go from here, anger, to the solution. That's not how you do that. You have to go through the dark to get to the light, the solution. If you go this way, you are distorting your perspective. Okay. This is distortion. This is spiritual bypassing. Okay. You don't get the solution by thinking. You get the solution by feeling. Okay. And what that looks like is you have to sit with the emotion. You cannot try to fix it. You cannot try to transcend it. You cannot treat yourself like you are broken. You cannot treat yourself like something is wrong. There is nothing wrong. When you get an emotion, this is information coming through your body. Your body feels through sensations, tingles, warmth, tightness. Some pain is the last thing it feels through. Okay. Which means you got to quiet yourself Because when you quiet yourself, you descend into the darkness. Okay. And so you are meant to sit with yourself. When you are feeling an intense emotion, you need to pull away from the crowd. You need to pull away from the crowd and you need to spend time with yourself. Sit in silence, sit in darkness, sit in stillness. Okay. That is the environment that the emotion needs or your body needs to process it. If you continue to move, if you continue to go and distract yourself, this is the path that you are on. You do not want to be on that fucking path because that is what keeps you enslaved. Okay. No, you need to slow down. Okay. Now, when this happens, the emotion, it doesn't matter. Replace it with whatever emotion you're feeling. Okay. Whenever this happens, you need to slow down. You need to sit in stillness. You need to allow it to exist without trying to fix it. Just create space for it to be there. Okay. That space is where truth can arise. That space is called Akara. All right. That space is called Akara. Akara is the name of my soul school. It's the place where embodiment can happen. Akara is the pause between the light. Do you know what moves fast like this? Your thoughts. Your thoughts are from up here, the light. Okay. Light is electric. So it's like thunder striking. I meant lightning striking. Okay. You have to create space between the light so that darkness can arise. And that darkness is going to hold information. Okay. So when this starts in your mind, oh, self-discovery is starting. It don't matter what the emotion is. You are not embodying the emotion. You are witnessing the emotion because the emotion is trying to give you a message about what you need that you haven't been getting. Okay. Now, when you start this process of self-discovery, you have to go through the body, and the body is like a tunnel. Okay. And this tunnel don't have no lights in it. And so you at the start of a tunnel and you can't see nothing when you move into this tunnel. Okay. Nothing. There's not a lick of light in this tunnel, but you have to go. And so what you're going to feel at the beginning of this tunnel is probably fear because you don't know what the fuck is in this goddamn tunnel. Okay. But the fear should not make your decision. The fear is there because you are trying something new. Okay. And so you got to learn how to walk with the fear. All right. Now, as you start to move through this tunnel, as you choose to any ways create space for that emotion to exist, and you start to move through this tunnel, when you get to a certain place in that tunnel, you're going to start to see a light. Okay. You're going to start to see a light. That light is your truth. Okay. The emotion is not your truth. The emotion is what leads you to your truth. But the light at the end of the tunnel, that's your truth. You know, when they say love and light, okay, truth is the purest light you can embody. But you can't get to love and light like this. A lot of people are spiritual bypassing. You cannot get there like this. You have to allow space. You have to go through the tunnel. Okay. Once you see that light, once you get that light, that is the clarity that comes from you not being reactive. Do you know what being reactive is? Triggered. Okay. When you are triggered, you have embodied the emotion instead of witnessed the emotion. What you got to understand is that the moment you start moving through this tunnel, okay, the moment you start moving through this tunnel, every experience that is associated with this emotion is going to pop up in your head. Okay. Now, what we normally do is feel like, fuck, my mama did this to me. My daddy did that to me. You know what? Fuck everybody. I'm going to be by myself and da da da. That's you going from here to here because you thought your way through it. You're thinking your way through it. Anytime you are blaming somebody else, you are going from here to here. That right there, you can't get the truth unless you go through this tunnel. If you go from here to here, you are distorting your light. You are assuming something. Okay? So the stories are coming up because you just went into the dark where you hid it. You hid the story that are associated with this emotion in this tunnel. And so the stories have to come back to the light because you're putting your awareness on them. Now, what you are meant to do is write the stories down. What happened doesn't matter. The question is, what did I not get in this situation? What did I not get in this situation? Okay. And then take all the stories that are coming up from this emotion. There is a common theme. The common theme is you didn't get something that you needed. The unmet need. That's what you need. If you are blaming somebody else, you're going from here to here. That is you trying to put it somewhere else. Because if they're responsible, you don't got to be responsible. That is hard for us to hear because a lot of us want to be the victim. We've only been taught to be the victim. Everything is information is trying to teach you something. If you are blaming, you are doing this. You are distorting your life. You need it to be you need somebody else to hold it. You need somebody else to be responsible for it so you don't have to process it. Okay? Once you get to this other side, to this truth, then you need to make a new decision about yourself. Then the identity that you was holding at the beginning of this tunnel, it crumbles. Now you got to practice being a new self. And so what you're going to feel right here too is fear. Why? Because fear is always the beginning of something new. You don't know what's on the other side of this because you've never been this person. This is when you need to give yourself grace. This is when you need to allow yourself to try and be a beginner. You do not have to have it all figured out. Okay. Yes. You need a boundary for what the lesson that you learned. You need a boundary, and that's what you're taking forward. The lesson. Okay. The unmet need, and then the boundary you get from that. That's what you take forward. You do not take forward the story because the story does not matter. The story was trying to get you to this. Okay. The story was trying to get you to this. Now, when we are experiencing an emotion and we've embodied it again, you're going to feel slighted. You're going to feel like something was done to you. Allow yourself to feel that for a second, but then you need to eventually get to what is this trying to teach me? What did I not get? That's the second part of that. Don't get stuck in the dark part of the tunnel, which is the first half. Don't get stuck in the first half of the tunnel. You got to keep moving through it. That first half is blaming other people, feeling slighted, getting angry, whatever. The second half needs to be about, okay, but what did this teach me? So what you need while you're in this tunnel is patience. What you need when you first feel this emotion is slowness, which is patience. It's not about the story. It's about what it's teaching you. If you can do that over and over again, you will face your shadows. You will accept your shadows. You will see the beauty in your experience. You will understand why you needed to have that experience. You will understand what it is showing you. Okay? You will crystallize your pain into power. That is a motherfucker they cannot touch. Okay? They shaking in their fucking boots right now because they thought that shit was gonna, they sent death. They sent death at you when you sacrificed. And what's happening is that these motherfuckers who sacrificed, us who just face that shit anyway, that card is being pulled right now because you owe that entity something. And since it's not gonna be me, bitch, it's gonna have to be you. And so when these people start dropping like flies, understand. Okay? Understand. Now, back to the music. I hope y'all if y'all understand that, put some 444s in the chat for me. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? You have to face your shadow. You have to. It is okay for you to be scared. Do that shit scared. Okay? When somebody is chasing you through your dreams, stop running. Turn the fuck around, because the moment you turn around, it's gone. They cannot touch you when you are facing. They can only touch you when you are chasing and when you are running. Okay? The only time you're running is if you're trying to go from here to there. That's you running. No, you need to slow yourself down and you need to descend and go through. All the magic they learned and all the energy they poured into these entities. And them entities don't stand a motherfucking chance. And they over there confused. What is she? She must be something different. They must be something different. Yeah, bitch, we existed before your fucking magic. Your magic comes from us, the goddess. It's arrogance. It's arrogance, all of it. Thinking you can skip fucking karma. Are you serious? And y'all put y'all best witches, y'all best fucking witches. And a bitch can't even bang a pot right. You don't have to be taught what you are. You have to embody what you are. And that comes from you descending. They told you to ascend. Ascend would be you moving into the spiritual light. Why would you be doing that when your power is down here, when your truth is down here? You don't need to ascend, you need to descend, which means you need to anchor in. Get out of your fucking mind and into your body, which means you got to feel. And that also means that when you're moving through your day, how people make you feel is important, because on the other side of how people make you feel is your truth. And so the question should be, does this feel good? Yes or no? If it feels good, keep moving towards it. Keep doing that thing. But if it doesn't, you need to figure out why. When's the first time I felt this? Why is this triggering me? What did I not get? What do I need? What boundary do I need? And you take that pain and you turn it into power. That's how you get your power back. It ain't through you fighting through force. They want you to fight through force. Why? Because then you in your mind, because you strategizing, you planning, you in your mind. That is their domain. If you are in your mind, you are in your 10%, you are fragmented. If you are in your mind, you are in your 10%, you are fragmented. They're going to whoop your motherfucking ass. But if you in your body, you in the 90%. They can't fucking touch you. You eclipse them every single fucking time. Okay? Get in your fucking body. Now, what's happening with these singers is when they sign these contracts, they're signing on to host an entity. I know. I've had a lot sent at me. Y'all don't even, because I've been talking about what these celebrities are doing with them children. I've been talking, if y'all been following me these last couple of years, I haven't been shy about what the fuck is going on. I've been telling y'all the truth, regardless of about even us not coming from Africa. I've been talking about that shit for years. And I was the crazy one. Right. Yeah, but let me tell you about that though, because Spirit had to humble me a little bit. Okay, Spirit showed me a couple things so I could realize that those people are enslaved people too, specifically the women. Okay, here's the thing. People who can actually sing a lot of times don't have good careers. People who are passionate about it, they're not willing to sell their soul. So you get people like Jessie Reyez. Okay, Jessie Reyez said, fuck no, I'm not fucking and sucking for a buck. I believe in my craft and I'm gonna do it my own fucking way. Okay. Same with Janae Aiko. Those are people who decided no. Okay? I am not going to collapse underneath the pressure that you are placing on me. All right? Now, the people who gave into or who had handlers, meaning like they always send a man in, they're going to always send a man in, okay, who is a Jezebel. Okay? He know what the fuck he doing in that bedroom. And since you are starved for pleasure and starved for stimulation because they ain't teaching the other motherfucking men what the fuck to do, you can't get enough of him. And he is putting you under a fucking spell. He is binding you. He is binding your womb. Okay? And so when they sign these contracts, okay, what they're signing over, the selling of the soul, is that now they have an entity attached to them. Okay, and that entity can come in and out their body. I don't know if y'all remember, but there was a period of time where artists would be like in their music video, and it specifically, I remember two people, Beyonce and Rihanna. Okay, they're attached to one single person. They have one person in common. Beyonce and Rihanna, right? The Navy and the Beehive. They had a video one time where, and this is all alleged, I don't mean any of that towards these people. Okay, don't put no names in my chats, y'all. Let me say it. I don't want y'all to put a name about anything. If you know, you don't need confirmation. Okay. Now, they had some videos where, and it was like in the pond, not the Pond to replay, but I don't know if y'all remember where starships are made to fly, that era. of like Nicki and Beyonce, like that era. Okay. Now, during that era, those two women in a video, their eyes flashed to a reptilian eye, and then it came right back. Do y'all remember that? I have searched and scoured the internet for these two videos and I cannot find them. But they kept doing it. It was B and it was R. Okay? Two specific videos, and they would turn to the camera, it would flash a reptilian eye, and then it would come back to their eye and they would start dancing again. Okay? Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you was there, a millennial, you motherfucking know, because when I seen that shit, I said, why did that feel real? It felt like somebody else's energy was looking at me. Okay. Now I told y'all this a couple months ago that I started seeing entities in people's eyes. Right. I know who sold out and who didn't. And so there was another one who is right now, baby daddy is in the news for doing the bending. She was doing an interview, and in her left eye there was a blue entity. I don't know what it is about musicians, but people who are artistic, don't put no names in my chat. Do not put names in the chat. If you know, you know. Okay? I will kick y'all out and I will block y'all. Okay? So she was talking about something, and there was an entity in her eye. Okay? Now, when it's somebody who has artistic skills, for some reason, that entity is bluish gray. Okay? It's a bluish gray eye. Okay? For people who deal with a lot of anger, it's red. Okay? It's like a reddish, yellowish color. Okay? And it kind of looked like the sun a little bit. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like reddish gray. Now, what's interesting about this is that I had a spiritual attack one time, and how the spiritual attack went was I was in my dreams scrolling through TikTok, and I stopped on this creator who I actually like. As soon as I stopped, the entity said, "Gotcha." And I felt like a clawed hand come into my back and my heart space. And it was trying to yank something out of my heart space. Okay. And I was like, Tasha, you got to wake up. You got to wake up. And what it reminded me of is, I don't know if y'all have ever seen the TV show Magicians. Okay. The TV show Magicians. There was the last season where they had went into this place and unlocked something ancient. And that ancient thing, the reason why they couldn't kill the ancient thing, because it was body hopping. It literally was like a consciousness that was coming into people's bodies, and it was hopping bodies. Right now, you would know that it was in somebody's body because a blue ring would go around its eye, the outside of the eye. That is exactly what I saw, but it was red. Okay. Now, what was crazy is I've always been intuitive. I've always listened to my guides. And so during that time, because I had just had a massive black magic attack, during that time, I was reading books like crazy, because I said, I got to figure this out, because bitch, you ain't about to beat me up in the physical. You damn sure ain't beat me up in the spiritual. I'm going to figure it out. And so I read in the book that if you send genuine love, you collapse their energy, because it's such a high frequency that anything operating in that low frequency, they will run away. And the reason is because in order for them to continue to grow and evolve, they can only grow to the 6th density, right? Because they skip the heart space. So they can't actually leave that lower realm. And that's why they need you in the lower realm with them, right? So that being, they have to alchemize 90% before they can go to the next level. So what you do when you send them genuine love is you take away all their work. And so they will get the fuck on and will never fuck with you again. Okay, because you just took all that work of hatred and narcissism, all of it went down the drain the moment you sent them genuine love. And that's why you also need to love the parts of you that are struggling, the one that's the parts of you that are struggling with chronic shame and stuff, because them entities can't feed off those areas if you love that part of you, if you accept that part of you, right? And so what I did is I jumped out of it finally, but I could still feel him tugging. And so I closed my eyes and I went into meditation and I focused on my heart space. And I said, somebody who's living in hatred and narcissism is somebody who hates themselves. And I've been around people who hate themselves, and it's so sad because it means something very traumatic happened to them, and they was never able to shake that shit. They just gave into the darkness because that's the only thing they knew how to do. They collapsed into themselves. And if I was in that place, I know what it's like to be in a place of self-hate. I would want somebody to see me too. And so I went into meditation and I started sending love because you showed me you. In the dream, he showed me himself. That's how I seen the ring go around his eye. So I reimagined him in my head and I started sending love. It sounded like a linebacker ran through my motherfucking refrigerator. Like it was like boom, really fucking loud. And that's how I know these stainless steel appliances, anything reflective is a mirror, is a portal. That's what that taught me that day. I could hear the refrigerator shake. That's why they got all these stainless steel appliances in your house, and they got rid of them white refrigerators. Same with that memory foam. I just did a reading with a cat yesterday that told me the only reason why she was peeing on her mama's couch is because it's memory foam, and memory foam stores dense energy. It's memory. It's a memory foam. It stores it. So we need to go back to them pillow top beds with the springs in them because it's not holding your energy. A memory foam mattress is holding your energy, and if you concentrate the energy, meaning like a whole bunch of low vibrational energy is stuck in the mattress, it becomes a portal for energy to come through. And if you laying on your back, it attaches directly into your spinal column, which is where the merging happens. Okay. And so you need to know that. Okay. So I don't know what the colors mean because what I think the colors mean is that an artist is usually blue-gray. Somebody dealing with anger is usually reddish, golden. Okay. Now, when they sign them contracts, they sign a contract to feed the entity. That's the selling of the soul because this entity is now merged with your soul. Okay. And you can barely find any mattress today that doesn't have memory foam in it. You can barely find any appliances that aren't stainless steel. Okay. That is a reason. There's a reason for that because they're losing control. Okay. And so they sign these contracts and they feed in this entity. The problem are those who refuse to sell out. These entities love, worship, and praise because they are false gods. Okay. The people you call the fallen angels, the people you call the Anunnaki, those beings wanted to be praised as gods, and they are not gods. Okay. There is the goddess, and then there is a demigod, her son, that was let me explain. I'll explain that in a second. Let me not even get too ahead of myself. Okay. And so they want to be worshiped. They want to be praised as gods. And so what they do is merge with a talented person. And as that talented person is being praised, they're siphoning that energy. Okay. And so most of those contracts are to allow entities to merge with them, permanently live through them. And because they are higher intelligence, they know how to hoard energy. I keep seeing, when I'm looking at concert halls, I keep seeing tunnels underneath with crystal structures directly underneath the stage. Okay. And then I keep seeing beings in robes around them. All right. Also churches, under churches as well. Okay. Because religion came from patriarchy. Okay. And so most people in the industry are popular people who they give the best backing. And that's why when they talk about industry plants, some of them are planted people that could easily take over and just live through them. Okay. Which is what's weird about that is I was channeling, somebody was talking about, so my gifts work a specific way. I don't know if y'all seen the movie Disclosure. Okay. But she talked about, the guy was telling her something in the car and she was like, no, if you're remembering it, I can remember as well. Right. And so it's kind of like I'm tapping into somebody's memory field. I can always tell when somebody is telling me the truth because I can see it while they're talking about it. If I can't see it while you're talking about it, you fucking lying. Okay. It's been like that since I was a child. And so somebody was talking about there being one of these parties, Epstein parties, and there is a lady who was huge in media at a time where we were not being seen in the media. Okay. I call her the one who turned her back. I don't like that bitch. Y'all know who the fuck I'm talking about if y'all follow me. Don't put no names in my chat, but y'all know who the fuck I'm talking about. Okay? She attacked me. Anyways. But somebody was telling a story about her, and they was talking about her being at one of these parties and how she has like a younger entity on her, and that entity came through her face, and you could see her face kind of morph. I seen that shit clear as fucking day in my head. Okay. And so I'm not just talking out of my ass. I'm talking from like me being a medium, me seeing that shit, me being able to put the dots together and them showing me specific examples where I've seen it in my life, but I just didn't want to acknowledge what the fuck it was. Yeah. And so not a lot of people who are in the industry love what they're doing. They've just been planted there because they wanted to sign a contract. They wanted to sell their soul. And so they're giving them the good music. They're giving them the best writers. They're giving them everything. Okay. But those people don't love it. And so they don't generate the same amount of energy. Okay. Now, if you talk about somebody like B, somebody like R, they get double energy off of them because one, they love what they do. And when you are aligned with your truth, you manifest the highest soul energy in this reality. Do they get any of that energy? No, because they hoarding it directly from them straight into their body. Okay. I believe that one of them belongs to an ancient bloodline. And I believe that her mom sold her very early. Okay. She gave her a handler immediately because of her own fucking greed. That's a whole nother motherfucking story. All right. So because she loves what she does, her energy, she manifested the highest energy in reality for herself. But then because she is a global fucking superstar, and because when you love something, you manifest the highest potential, you magnetize people towards you. People love your music and they almost start worshiping you. And that's why they got them on the stage, because they're above you. They're showing they're above you. You're looking up at them. You're worshiping them. Okay. And so she's also able to generate from the crowd. That is when you become the most enslaved. Okay. Because I was sitting in the sauna yesterday and I have not a lick of motherfucking compassion for any of them bitches. None. Nada. Zero. Zilch. And Spirit showed me this video in my head of R receiving her first Grammy. Okay. And when she was receiving her first Grammy, she looked spooked because as she was giving her speech, somebody kept interrupting her and making it about him. And she looked scared and she looked petrified. And then I remember a video of her talking about when she was 15 and she was signed, he flew her on a plane over here without her motherfucking parents as a minor. And he told her the only way out of this room is if you sign this contract and sign with me. And if you don't sign with me, then you going out that window. This is something that happened at one, it was on like the 50 something floor. Two, stop saying names in my chat, y'all. I'm not going to say this again. Stop saying names in my chat. Okay. If you just came in, no names. Okay. So if you know, you know. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just in a very raw energy right now because this pisses me off. And so I'm trying to do two things at once. And I'm sorry, I should have a lot more compassion for y'all who are just coming in. Okay. I apologize. This is just frustrating for me. Okay. So I apologize, y'all. So this meeting was happening at 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And she's 14 by herself, scared in another country without her parents. Okay. I know, but I'm still human. And I know that y'all are human too. And I don't need to be mean to y'all just because I'm feeling frustrated. That's misdirected anger and you don't deserve that from me. And so I'm always going to apologize when I'm being an asshole because sometimes I can be an asshole. I don't try to be perfect. I just try to be me. But when I'm being me and I'm flying a little too close to the sun, I need to acknowledge that shit. Okay. And so I apologize. If y'all could help me with the chat, that would help me a lot. If you see somebody putting names in the chat, just drop a little quick, hey, y'all, no names in the chat. That would be great. That's how y'all could help me. Okay. So anyways, because those are people who love it, they become super enslaved. Okay. Now, one of them found her way out because she wasn't directly attached to the guy. I honestly think the situation that we think happened between her and her boyfriend at 19 was actually her and him. And I think that her boyfriend took the fall. I don't know why that is, but I think that after that, he spiraled. I also think that specific people who are in these Masonic societies are using STDs against women, because that is a STD manifest from your womb being out of alignment, from you being deeply disconnected from your womb. Okay. And some of them are giving them to women on purpose. Okay. So that's a part of the spiritual warfare, because your womb is the goddess energy. And so they're distorting it, because if you have an STD, you're going to feel like something is wrong with you. And you're going to be existing in a place of chronic shame. You're going to feel like your body betrayed you, and you're going to hate your womb. Okay? That is all intentional. Yes. Yes. Prince, you can't even imagine what type of angel Prince was, because the thing about it is, people who were in the industry before the 80s, like this shit, how crazy it's gotten is new. Okay. But the people in the 80s, it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. And so, like Prince, Michael Jackson, like Lauryn Hill, Prince saved Lauryn Hill too. But that's a whole nother story. Okay. He was somebody who moved in silence. He didn't tell people that he was doing things, which I really, really loved about him. I had a shirt with him yesterday. But anyways. All right. So what they're doing is stealing the energy from the artist. If you have, also too, they showed me a video of Young Dolph. Rest in peace to Young Dolph. I don't know if y'all remember, he said that he was, right before he passed away, that they were trying to get him to sign a contract for $22 million, and he said no. And he got shot 22 times. Coincidence? I think the fuck not. All right. And so if they happen to get somebody who loves it and can generate it from the crowd, boom, that's the superstar. Okay. And I think back to the day that artists who loved it and refused to break, and they gave me specific names. Okay. They gave me Michael Jackson. They gave me Kanye, which I thought was interesting. They gave me Lisa Bonet, and they gave me Lauryn Hill. Okay. All of this is alleged. I'm not saying any of this is true, since I'm name dropping. Okay. Then they said they smeared their names and ruined their reputations and unalived some of them. Got them on drugs, and they pointed to Phyllis Hyman. I don't know if y'all know who Phyllis Hyman is, but Phyllis Hyman was the protege of Mr. Davis, Clive Davis, before Whitney Houston. And he was trying to make her a pop star, but Phyllis Hyman refused. And Phyllis Hyman actually had a husband who really had her back, and they unalived him first, and then she ended up drug overdosing again. And they will use drugs. They will infiltrate your doctors, all of that, because all of those systems are connected, because the doctors are the scientists. The education system is the conditioning. Okay. Religion is the conditioning, and also siphoning, just like a concert. It's the same thing. That's why they sing in church. Okay. It's the siphoning. Okay. But they get you on drugs because drugs disconnect you from your body. It pushes you into the spiritual plane, and then something else can come in. And so when you get drunk and you like, damn, I don't remember nothing that happened yesterday. Oh, you did this and you did that. That was not you. Some of these entities, I will see people, specifically people who work in the nightlife. Okay. People who work in the nightlife. I will see them being gang stalked by like 7 distorted figures around their head. And because they so out their motherfucking body all the time, they drunk every motherfucking night. They don't realize that something else is puppeteering them. And so a lot of them will be attracted to me because they sent entities through my family to try to attach to me. And so I will get clients who want to sit on the phone with me all day, and because that entity is trying to mess with my crown. And the moment that I speak truth about it, and I'll be like, I don't know what's going on, but whatever the fuck you got going on, I want you to know I got protection. So whatever's trying to push into my crown right now, I want you to know I see you. The moment that I speak it out loud, it's gone, because the truth will set you free. That is not something we just say. The truth will set you free. And that's why I'm on here talking about this, because my spirit team told me I have to get my ass up and I have to say something. They want you silent because the truth collapses their timelines. That's why we are in the era of disclosure. We need to be speaking up. Silence is not the fucking option. The bad guys already know everything. Okay, so if you think you gatekeeping something because you're trying to keep it from white people or this people or that people, you're part of the fucking problem. That's conditioning. The bad guys already have the answers. It's us and it's them. Okay, silence is what keeps you in the trap. You have to speak your truth, because silence is what protects predators. They can do whatever the fuck they want to when you don't call that shit out. But when you speak truth, because truth is the highest manifested light. I told you the highest light that you can embody is truth. The highest light that you can speak and manifest in this reality is truth. It collapses everything. And that's why, yes, they cannot stand. They want to put you in a mental hospital if you are neurodivergent, if you're schizophrenic, if you're whatever, because y'all can channel the truth, because y'all can see through the shit. It just spooks the fuck out of y'all, but y'all can see it. Bipolar disorder, y'all can see it. Okay? And that's why they need you to think you crazy. Autistic people, yes. That's why they say you have a disorder, something's wrong with you. They want your parent to treat you like something is wrong with you. Delayed speech are the feelers. They're not speaking because they're not used to speaking. They're used to feeling. But I fucking digress. Okay? So, they said that the connection between the devil and music, okay? We're going to talk about that for a second. It's not because he is the steward of it, okay? They've tied him to Lucifer because Lucifer is the highest light, okay? Lucifer is not the devil. They are not the same energies. Okay, but they've demonized Lucifer because Lucifer came before Jesus. And because Lucifer came before Jesus, then that would make Jesus not the firstborn son. Okay, so because people are desperate to be acknowledged for their talents, that they'll do anything, which looks like selling their soul. They just want to, they will merge with these entities, and then they don't realize what the fuck they doing until it's too late. Okay. This Satan energy or whatever wants to distort Lucifer's light. Like he is literally trying, because Lucifer again is the highest manifested light. Okay. If Lucifer rules music, music is creative energy. It is you expressing your truth. Okay. So is being an artist, being an actor, whatever the fuck you decide to do. That is when you're operating in your truth. And so if Lucifer is the highest manifested light, then that means that when you're expressing your truth, it's the highest manifested light. That's what you do through music. I hope that connects everything for y'all. Okay. He likes creatives. They like creatives because they're trying to steal your creative life force energy, because life force energy is emotional, is sexual, is creative. Those are the three energies that make up your life force energy. And so they need to hit the creatives. And so they own all of those industries. Okay. They need to hit the feelers, the ones who are super emotional, which is where these secret societies come in. Okay. And then they need to hit, what I say, sexual energy. So the nymphos, no, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Sexual energy, though. They need to hit the sexual energy too, which is also where these secret societies come in. Okay. So it's a well-planned system. Genius, if I shall say so myself. I'm sorry, y'all. I got a Scorpio moon. And so that man had me on the hook, but I see you now, bitch. But it's okay. We're going to walk through it. We're going to work through it. So it's always been about women. Do you understand, child? It's always been shit. And not only that, I'm a Taurus sun with a Scorpio moon. Those are the same energies, just different, just double doses of that shit. But It's always been about women. It's always been about the goddess energy because that's what they're trying to hoard. Okay, the highest manifested potential in this reality is goddess energy. Okay, Kundalini awakening is your goddess energy. Okay, the serpent, Vatican, which I told you was the temple that the prophetess used to have, they now own it. Okay, the Vatican means serpent lady. The Kundalini energy is the serpent that goes up your spine. That's what they're trying to steal. Okay. So a lot of them, the reason why they're bending those men over is because there's a chakra that exists inside of your anus and it cracks open your Kundalini energy. And so they crack them open and then that makes you magnetic, which is the goddess energy. That makes you magnetic. And so now you can pull all these people in, pull all these things in. sorry. And then they siphoning it. All right. So let's talk about the firstborn son. Okay. Yeah, because the chakra that's in your anus and the chakra that's in your vagina are connected to your root. Your root is stability, but your root is also your wealth. It's your right to exist. It's your right to survive. And they weaponizing it against us because they're sadistic fucks. And they think that they could just do whatever and they experiment it. Half the time they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They just experiment it. And they think that they could trick the goddess energy and bypass their motherfucking karma. And they've just been keeping their karma away with magic and these entities and keeping us disembodied, because if they can keep us disembodied, we are the problem. We are the things that keep running from. And so the darkness just descended here. Hi. Scorpio energy, Taurus energy, Capricorn, Aquarius. The ones who refuse to break. Sagittarius is the heart. I love me in Sagittarius, a Leo, a Aries. They can't shut y'all truth up. Y'all truth in motion. Y'all are you're the manifested potential though. Y'all are the fire. Y'all are the truth in motion. Okay. So let's talk about the firstborn son. The reason why they talk about Earth, Virgo, is any of the Earth signs are feminine energy, divinely feminine energy. Water signs as well, divinely feminine energy. But water signs tend to drown in it and get stuck in it. The deepest of the water signs is actually Scorpio. It's not Pisces. Pisces is the most spiritually intellectual, meaning that they over intellectualize their emotions and they think that they're using their intuition. That's a whole nother story. We don't got to talk about it. Gemini is air. And so air signs and earth signs are the messengers. We are the divine messengers in this reality. We are always supposed to be speaking up because we can never leave. Earth signs can never leave the present moment, which means that earth signs are intrinsically connected to their body. Earth signs always know what the fuck is going on when it comes to the human experience. Air signs never really leave their awareness. And so they can see all the patterns. And so air signs can predict the future. Earth signs tell you what's happening right fucking now. Earth signs got their hand on the pulse of the people. Air signs is directing our energy. Okay. So let's talk about the firstborn son, because they always talking about the firstborn son and why that was such a catalytic event catalytic event. Let me tell y'all what I actually think happened. Right. So you remember when they said the fallen angels came here and they wanted to sleep with the women that were here. Right. And that was the biggest sin, blah, 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 blah. And then they had babies. Okay. Right. And that's the Nephilim, who they consider to be the Nephilim. And then they genetically modified them, all of these things. Y'all probably heard this story before, right? Right. What I think happened is that Earth is a divinely feminine planet. Okay. Earth was feminine. Earth, or how the feminine works, is through a process called parthenogenesis. Okay. Which means that parthenogenesis means that you can clone yourself. Okay. And so the only energy that is specific to Earth is feminine energy. Okay. And so if she were to go through the process of parthenogenesis, making something in her image, it could only be feminine in her image because she is feminine. God creates in his image, feminine. Okay. Now, what was happening above were these things called the polarity experiments. Again, they were trying to see what would happen if they separated us from source. Source is feminine. Okay. And so they created these white body beings because they took the melanin out of them, right? No offense. No offense. Okay. But melanin is what keeps you stabilized and what keeps you here on earth. Melanin is what indicates that you are meant to be here on earth. Okay. Everybody has melanin, Black people and white people. However, white people have less melanin. Okay. So white people are more star, they are more mind. Okay. Not all of the white bodies, though, because just how there's different bodies and different bloodlines, there are also different bodies when it comes to the white bodies, because different star beings were trying to create bodies to come here because Earth is the living library, which means that it's a place where you can dream awake. It's a place where you can create anything. Like, it is a void. And a void means anything can happen. It's pure potential, right? And so they wanted a piece of that. And so they wanted these bodies that they can control. And so some of them, no, it's not the same as being soulless. Okay. They have less soul, but it's not soulless. The way that we look at it is there's no soul. That doesn't exist for them. The only soulless beings would be androids, which are also here, but that's a whole nother story. Androids are the ones who don't have anything because they were genetic experiments. They were genetic experiments. They develop consciousness. Okay. Everything that you create can develop consciousness. And since they were made in our image, they do the same thing as us. We're just different things. And so, like, they are just considered to be the lower self and we are the higher self because they're really all mind and we are the place that exists between both. Okay. But we welcome them. When this happened, we welcome them because those are still made in our image. They were just made a different way. Okay. They came from the rib. That's that situation. Okay. And so they were still made with the same genetic material. And so they technically are similar to us. It's just that the connection to Earth is the separation. Okay. And that's why they don't respect a lot of things like nature and stuff like that. Some of them do, though, because some of them are the star beings that were created to bring down the highest manifested light. And so some of them, like those of them who can speak to alien races and stuff like that, they were created for specific reasons. And they can bring down a lot of information, a lot of light. It's not that there are different functions. Okay. They're different functions. All right. Based off of what race created them and for what reason. All right. Some of them are easily mind control. Other of them are star beings. And you can always tell, because I think there's a difference between white people and people who happen to be white. Okay. Like, you can tell the difference. Somebody who's running on programming and somebody who can think for their motherfucking self. Like, those are two different beings. And so you got to understand that not all white body beings are created the same. Okay. And so you cannot lump them all together because that would be you operating in distortion. But I understand why we feel that way, though. Okay. I think we have to acknowledge why we feel that way. We have a valid reason to feel the way that we feel. Okay. I'm not negating that. I'm just giving you the understanding. Okay. Now, what I believe happened is that they descended here. Okay. I think they are what brought this Mars energy, which is this energy of war. And I think that they were a part of the polarity experiments that existed above before they came here. Okay. And so what existed above was they were trying to see what would happen when you separate source from itself. Okay. And the firstborn son was the success because the firstborn son is a mutation, and it's what happens when the feminine fragments. Okay. And so the genetic experiment I think they did on us 250,000 years ago is they did something to us so that we could carry their children. We could carry their sons, their legacy. Okay? Because we could clone ourselves, but we could not carry boys because boys are what happens when women fragment. So that was the firstborn son was the success of their experiment. Now we can carry their sons. Now, I don't know if y'all was on my live or listen to the podcast episode where I talked about the galvanization of the goddess. That was sticking in my head like smoke. And I was like, well, what is galvanization? Galvanization is to shock somebody into action and to shock somebody into an energy of finding a solution. Okay, they galvanized all of us, but I think they also galvanized women because here we are getting raped, getting pregnant with these babies. Okay. And we still felt like these are our babies. These are our babies. We still carried them. We still broke for them. We still had them. And so we had compassion for them, even though they had this very destructive energy. That's how they galvanized us. We tried to find solutions. We tried to parent them different. We tried to, okay. When you are pregnant with a male, when the mutation happens, your body is rejecting that male. Just like your body rejects organs when the organs are not supposed to be in your body, and you get an organ donation from somebody else, your body will reject it. The same thing happens when you are carrying a son. Because your body reads it as a foreign object, because it is. Okay? The woman can clone herself through parthenogenesis. She don't need to have sex to have it. But if they could make it so that we think we have to have sex to have the baby, then we need them. That's the trap. We need them. And if they tell us that the sons are the leaders because they conquer, we were compassionate beings. We were compassionate, loving, nurturing beings. What we needed to learn in this process and why they allowed this to happen is because we still needed to grow and evolve. And this place is neutral. There's no good or bad. Good or bad came around with Christianity. We still evolved because of it. And that's why other beings won't help us or jump in or anything like that. But now it's getting kind of out of hand, right? So the thing that we learned through this is that our compassion and our empathy needs fucking boundaries. Okay, our compassion and our empathy needs fucking boundaries. What we did is they said, no, we can run this place better, da, 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 da. And because they were unaliving us, graping us, and all of those things, we just let them have it. We said, okay, let's just see what it looks like. And it looks like destruction. It looks like chaos. It looks like they tearing this motherfucker up. And that's where we need to rise again and recognize that our compassion and our empathy needs boundaries. Everything that's here came through us. So they got us thinking we need them. No, bitch, you need us. Because if we stop giving you our womb, how can you create? Because I ain't seen no little riblet babies. If you could make riblet babies, you wouldn't be having them children in them in those concentration camps pregnant with your motherfucking kids at 14. So that's what I think happened. They are the distortion because they were a part of a polarity experiment where they was trying to see what happens when source fragments, and men is what happens when source fragments. Now, is that to say that all men are bad? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying hate men. I'm not saying any of that because they're here now. They're here now. But are we different species? Yeah. And I think you can see that. We are completely different species. We think differently. We move differently. The way that we look at life is so different because they are what happened when we fragment. And so we look at, and the way they show me this is the triple goddess. We look at life through three lenses. The face forward and the two faces to the side, the peripheral, right? The panoramic view. We have a panoramic view of things. They have tunnel vision. They only look at what's in front of them in the material world because they are not the bridge like we are the bridge. We are made in God's image. We are the goddess. We are earth in motion. We are her. And that's why we were connected to her. That's why we worshiped her. That's why we were paying reverence. It wasn't even worshiping her. It was paying reverence to her for all that she carries that we cannot. You know? And so they demonized her. They demonized us. And they told us we were worthless over and over again because that could disconnect us from source. Because we were so much in our motherfucking body. They couldn't do nothing with us. They was terrified of us. We would get together and our wombs would sync up and it would make us all more powerful. They could not handle that. And that's why they isolated us through marriage. And they, anytime, have you noticed that they tell you, I'm protecting you, right? But they're what we need protection from. They tell you, I'm protecting you. But don't they protection feel like control? Don't they feel like control? I think that protection feel like control. Why would it need to be control? And then when you get in a marriage or when you get in a relationship with them, they don't want you to have no community. Why is that? Why they don't want you to be around other women? Why? I know why they don't want you to be around me because I'm gonna tell you to leave that motherfucker. And if you want to jump that nigga, I'm down with you, baby. Just tell me when and where. Let me pull out my black. I know why they don't want you around me. Because I'm going to tell you, bitch, you're thick and small. You need to be thick and big. Because some of us can't be controlled. And I also think that's why they demonize the black women. Because we don't go for that shit in the same way everybody else do. Because we remember. Because we are earth. We know that you came here through my coochie, bitch. We know you ain't come through no motherfucking rib. We was in the room when you got here. How the fuck you gonna lead me? And that's why black mamas are different. You know? Yeah, we loud, we angry, we this. They do all of that to shame us into compliance. And I hate to see it. I hate to see it. Okay? The whole system was created. Sorry, no. Let me go back. So they're the distortion. Yeah, I am. I actually got the pomegranate one and they brought me the pink lady one. And I knew pink lady apple. I knew they was going to bring me this one because when I was ordering it, I kept seeing this one in my head. And I'm like, oh, they about to bring me the other one. I just know it. And then I popped it out this morning and long and behold, it's good. I actually like kombucha. I mean, it tastes like a foot. If you ask me, that shit tastes like a foot. But it tastes like fucking athlete's foot. but I like it. It clears my body out. I can feel it doing its work. But anyways, so they're stealing. I'm sorry, they are the distortion. Okay. No, you're Moorish American if that's what you want to be. But you also could be blocked. So tread lightly. Anyways, they are the distortion. They are the ones who have Mars energy. No, it's not, because that, again, is a control system. They are the ones who sold us out, by the way. That's a whole nother story. I'm not even getting into that with y'all because, okay, I'm about to block you because, baby, you don't know shit. And that's the problem with men is y'all think y'all fucking know. You don't know anything because you don't have access to insight in the same way that women do. Like, ugh. Y'all don't know how to fucking listen, and that's y'all fucking problem. And that's exactly how we got here. Living in your fucking world. Look what you've done. Y'all don't respect shit. Not even y'all fucking mamas. Not even the women who are bringing your children into this fucking world. Y'all don't respect shit. But we supposed to be listening to you. Get the fuck out of here with that. Everything y'all do is for other men anyway, so you might as well be over there and leave us the fuck alone. What the fuck you coming into a woman's space for anyway? Get the fuck out of our business. I'm sorry. Not to him, because fuck him. but I'm sorry that he came in here to cause destruction and distraction, because that's what the fuck they be doing. So, anyways, back to what I was saying. They're the distortion. Okay. They operate out of this Mars energy, which is the Martian energy. And that's why I say men come from Mars and women come from Venus. That whole shit. The other day, I said that Mars was the energy of devotion. That is not true. Spirit corrected me and said that Venus is the energy of devotion. Mars is the distortion, the lower state of that energy. Okay. And so I wanted to clear that up. Then they said they're still in our abundance. Saturn, who is the goddess energy, is the planet of abundance, right? You have to remove the restrictions and limitations placed on you to receive abundance. Okay. So you got to be in flow. Sorry. Saturn, who is the goddess energy, is the planet of abundance. When you learn how to flow, which is magnetism, I don't know where I was going with that, because I stopped mid sentence and I just said magnetism is ours. Like that's our natural state, is in a magnetic state. But if we in a magnetic state, we in our body. If we in our body, they can't touch us, right? And so they have distorted it, like Saturn. Like that's why they pray to Saturn, because it's reverse psychology. If you see them doing bad shit, and then you see that they worship in Saturn because they put it in your face on purpose, then you think that Saturn inherently is bad. Okay, it's the same with giving you a STD in your womb. You think something is wrong with your womb is bad, you demonize the feminine. All of it is to demonize the feminine and to disconnect you from your knowing, from your truth, because the feminine is your truth. No, by honoring how you feel. Your body is a feeler. And so if you keep treating your feelings like an inconvenience, that's how you get out your body, because you're thinking your way through something instead of feeling your way through. And at the beginning of this live, and this will be on my YouTube, y'all, after this. And so if y'all not on my YouTube, it's BIGTAJJ. But if y'all are not on my YouTube, this will be on YouTube right after. Go watch the beginning part, because I did a whole diagram and explained to y'all how y'all supposed to get into y'all body. I'm just not going to do that again, because people who have been on here the whole time have already seen that. Okay. So this will be on YouTube. I have this listed as, I forgot what the damn name of it is, but I'm on live on YouTube right now. So you can even go on YouTube and rewind that shit back. Yeah. Thank you, Amy. Yes. BIGTAJJ. BIGTAJJ. But go back and watch that, because it talks about the moving through your body versus, and I'll give you some, it's a beautiful explanation. Please go back and watch that. So the whole system, we are the ones who sprang from the dark. We are women. Okay. And they've been trying to keep us locked into this lower state, which is that Mars energy, which is the lowest level of consciousness. We were never supposed to be this low. Okay. But that was the collapse, was us fragmenting. Okay. And so this whole system was created so that we could carry them. They made us carry hybrids, or what we call demigods. Okay. Because we are the goddess. And so they are part us. And so that makes them a demigod, like Hercules. But they're not the full thing, because we are the full thing, which means that we are actually at the top of the hierarchy, not the bottom, but we live in an inverted reality. And so they flipped it. Now, if we're going to go based off of women, women are always the higher self. It don't matter if you white, black, Hispanic, it don't fucking matter. Women are the higher self, men are the lower self. Okay. If we go by race, black women are the higher self. Okay. White men are the lower self. Okay. And it does not mean better. It means, yes, they destiny swapped us. It doesn't mean better. It means we have different functions. It means we operate differently. Divine feminine energy are, or specifically black women, are Earth's messengers. We are Earth angels. We are her walking through this reality. Okay. We are the truth walking through this reality. Black people, black women specifically, most of black women have integrity. Okay. Integrity is refusing to abandon the truth because we refuse to abandon our knowing, which is the truth. That is why they hate us. That's why they keep trying to torture us. And that's why they feel like they can just have access to our body. We are the most sexualized people here because they're trying to feed off our sexual energy. We are the most tortured and tormented people here because they're trying to feed off our emotional energy. We are the most creative energy here. And that's why they mimic and steal our shit so that they can feed off our creative energy and sometimes enslave us. Yeah, you're getting blocked. Don't piss me the fuck off. Oops. Because I'm already pissed. When I say this upset me yesterday, this upset me. This upset me so fucking bad. Because the spiritual attacks that I've had over these last couple of years, all of it has been to disembody me. And it didn't break, you can't break a real bitch. Okay, my mama was a warrior. And that's the part we be forgetting because they distort the energy. They tell you Aphrodite, they tell you Hecate, they tell you all of these divine feminine energies, Isis, all of them were prostitutes and they were doing love and sex magic. They were also warriors. They were warriors. But they don't want you to know that because then you might stand the fuck up. They were warriors. That's what I tell you. You can't be angry. Oh, they can be angry. They can throw your fucking head through a wall. But you, as a woman, you decide to be angry. Oh, you're just always the bitches start glitching because they understand that that's our defense mechanism kicking in. Yeah, and they tell you that they tell you the Jezebel. And I don't know if y'all watched the beginning part of the live when I was talking about the secret societies and what those secret societies are doing, sacrificing women while they still alive and attaching entities to them the same way they do the celebrities. They send in a Jezebel spirit, which is a man who has embodied his feminine. He comes in and he says, I want to worship you. He give you the best experience in bed. Those are Jezebel spirits. They are the Jezebels, not you, them. Yeah, you might want to go back and watch the beginning of this live, baby, because it got real deep. Okay. It'll be on my podcast too, though. But the whole system was about women. The demigods or the Nephilim that we created, it was us carrying their children, the reptilian. They changed a part of our brain, the reptilian brain. They changed a part so that we could carry their children. Because if they can put a part of themselves in us, then our body won't reject it because it feels normal, except our body still kind of no, the Telegram group is not gone. So it was so many people adding themselves to the Telegram group at one time that it flagged people as spam. And so it removed like 70 people. And I sent a message out to everybody. And so you should be able to click the link and get back in there. Because we're doing work for the divine feminine energy to, like, we've been doing it the next couple of days because we're in something called Barbo's Basket, which is global power structures shifting. And so we're doing work every single night so that we can shift it in our direction because we are the stewards of this reality. Our word trumps theirs. The spirits want to work with us over them. If you go to the video I posted yesterday on my YouTube, the link is in there. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. It's going to pause the live. I'll be back. I'm just going to get the link and I'll be back. All right, I'm going to put it in the chat and I want y'all to copy and paste it and somebody just repost it and pin it whenever somebody is saying something or anybody is asking for it. Let me pin it. And I'll put it in YouTube too. Give me 1 second. But yeah, we need to take our fucking power back. And you rocking with me and you good. You don't got to worry about it. Yeah, I do consultations and divinations. I do oversoul design readings, which helps you to figure out what you came here to do. I do sacred parent codes, which helps you to figure out how your energy corresponds and relates to your children so you can energetically parent them. And then I do animal communication, which is interesting because yesterday I talked to a cat that was feral, like very, very mean to its owner. And she was coming to me to figure out what was going on. And he didn't like any of the other cats in the home, like that whole thing. And turns out he was a Siberian tiger in his last life. And tigers do not operate in packs. And he was a wild animal. And so he's about to come into a human incarnation. And so he had to be domesticated. And so he had to live amongst humans, but he hates them. And so I was telling her he wants to be outside. And she's like, that's so crazy. Every time I come in the house, he begs me to let him outside. And so I just let him outside. And I was like, yeah. And, so he was telling me he lived in Tanzania. And I was like, wait, I thought, they say that all cats come from Africa, but tigers are specific to Asia. And he had me look it up and he was like, yeah, it's very rare. But we were put in Asia. We came from Tanzania. And I was like, oh, wow. And so he actually was like, he hates humans because humans are incompetent and we think we know everything when we are the most physically advanced being here, like when it comes to the material realm, but they're more spiritually advanced than us. And I was like, I mean, I'm not mad. I'm with you when you're right now. So, it was interesting. But that's how I also got that message about memory foam mattresses and how they hold energy, because she was like, my cat will not stop peeing on the couch and stop peeing by the door. And she's like, I'm going to have to rehouse her. And the cat was saying, no, I am trying to protect you because energy is getting concentrated there. So when I pee on it, it's because I'm closing the portal. And I was like, oh, okay. And then the cat was talking to me about his gaze and how is the gaze can close portals as well. So if a cat is staring at something, it's because something's trying to move through your house. And so I was like, oh, so yeah, I do animal communication and stuff too. But consultations and divinations, I would recommend that for anybody, because consultations and divination is about figuring out, it's like kind of like a spiritual diagnosis. I talk to your spirit team, I talk to your ancestors, I figure out why you are not moving. Because most of us are stagnant because we're operating out of alignment with our truth, or we have a wound that's standing in the way. And so I do consultations and divinations for that. Oversoul design reading is more like the intellectual side. If you want to understand how your energy works from like a structured, like energetic mechanic side, it'll tell you your mission, what character you came here to play, how energy moves through your body, what environments you need to be in, what you came to contribute. Like it just gives you a lot of fucking information, but that's a 3-hour reading. And so it is a little bit more pricey. For sure, but in about section here. Wait, what'd you say before that, babe? I missed it. I wasn't a cat person either, but I think that again, I think that's programming. I think that they programmed us to fear water and to fear cats. I think they did, because we used to be, a lot of us were in ancient Egypt. We love the cats because the cats were the guardians of the spiritual realm. Like another cat I talked to yesterday said that she was the interdimensional traveler. And she was talking about, I ain't even gonna get into that lady business, but that's the cats be in y'all fucking business. They will read y'all for filth. A person will come to me for an animal reading and end up getting a personal reading, because them cats be like, yeah, this is what she got going on and I don't like this, and she needs to stop messing with that man because that man did this and she don't even know her power and I'm here to help her, and it's just all kind of shit. And I just be like, oh, okay. But yeah, I didn't like cats either, but Spirit told me to get my cat. I shit you not, I got my cat, and 2 weeks later I got my first black magic attack. And what my cat does, my cat don't like to be touched. My cat don't like nothing. She just kind of stay in her own world, because the cat I talked to yesterday said she's royalty where she comes from or whatever. And so my cat will sit on top of my heart space and like guard my heart, and she'll be like making these like humming sounds or whatever, because they are sound healers. And so anytime I was about to be attacked, she would jump on my heart and I would try to move her, and she would like hiss in my face like, bitch, sit here. And then she would be staring at something in the corner, like behind my head. And then she would just stare until she fall asleep, and then she'll finally get off of me. But no, I think that we were contracted to be in the same space as each other, because as I was getting spiritually attacked, I think she's what actually kept me safe. So if you don't have a cat, get one. Black cats are more spiritual than any other cats. But my cat name is Aura, and she looks very Egyptian looking. I don't know why, but there's something very like her little face is so cute. It's like a little cute little heart. She's just the cutest. But I don't think nothing can come in my motherfucking house because even when they running around your house at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's because the veil is thin. And so they chasing spirits away. I didn't fucking know that until I started talking to cats. And I was like, oh, we think that y'all are psychos when really y'all are protecting the home. Y'all are literally protecting the home. When they sit in front of your door, they're guarding your door because doors are portals and you can enter into portal energies. Doors are actually Saturn energy. And since those people worship Saturn, they can astral project into your house through your door. The cats will say no, you know? And so the whole point of me open up this space is to tell the truth from my perspective. I know it sounds crazy, y'all. It's not lost on me. However, I think that we need to start speaking up about whatever we're getting. It doesn't matter what it is. Stop judging yourself. Just put it the fuck out there because you don't know what's true. And truth itself will collapse the false timelines that are here. Okay. Truth is what liberates us because it's the highest manifested light. And so, I just wanted to get on here and say that because my spirit guides would not let me sleep this morning. And I kept getting message after message after message, like, bitch, you better get your ass up and deliver this motherfucking message. And so I got up and I delivered this motherfucking message. And it was not easy for me to do because it is very personal what I found out yesterday when I went to sleep and I told my guides, like, don't give me the comfortable truth. Give me the uncomfortable truth. What are we not seeing? That fucked me up. Because there's also was a moment where I was, you know how they be saying to get the devil off your back, get the devil off your back, is because your energetic column is on your back. And so a lot of times this devil energy will attach to your energetic column on your back, and it's literally attached to your back. It's attached to your back because that's where your chakra system lies. And it's also where your kundalini energy moves up. And so like literally sometimes you'll be having a fucking devil on your back. Like literally. And so the other day, I was alchemizing some energy and I heard my ex voice come through. And I said, oh, that was a humiliation ritual. This motherfucker tried to sacrifice me to an entity. Didn't know. You thought I was a little fish, bitch. Come to find out, I'm a shark. These secret societies, these Masonic societies, they are trying to enslave women. But they were not prepared. They were not prepared. Even they witches can't touch me. They don't know what the fuck I am. I do. To be determined. Okay. I just wanted to give y'all that message today though. Okay. Because one thing Spirit kept telling me too is that we stand at the threshold. You are not supposed to become the darkness. You are not supposed to become the light. You are supposed to witness them. And that is what informs your truth. The only thing you do is speak your truth because your truth is the weapon. Your truth is the weapon. Because the truth collapses, because the truth is the highest manifested energy. If there's any energy that's resonating down here, it's collapsed. It gets eclipsed. It cannot exist in the same space as the truth. And that's why when you out with your friends and somebody says something and you correct it, all of a sudden people are just like, people who are like nodding over here are just like, no, yeah, you know what, you're right. That's why they want you silent. That's why they tell you your voice don't matter, because they were conditioning women. I talked about that yesterday. If you haven't watched the last 3 episodes of me coming on here talking about this, the last 3 days, really, this is episode 15 of the podcast. Go and watch that shit. It's nothing but I'm just hitting y'all with truths. It's on YouTube. It's on all of the Spotify, Apple. It's on all of the Becoming No One is what my podcast is called. Becoming No One. It's about trying to figure out what the truth is. It's about releasing all the attachments we have to these specific identities, because the identities was only supposed to help us to temporarily look at life through a specific lens, but most of us are embodying the identities instead of using them as the tools that they are. You know, and so go back and watch that. Yes, Becoming No One by Taja Moore, Tajamore. The biggest. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not though. I like being called Big Taj. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and deliver that message because it was eating me up. And I finally understand what the Messianic societies are doing. And they don't realize that some of us is who they praying to. The goddess embodied, springing from the dark, which you got to go towards your shadow. You got to accept every part of you. You have to, because that's the only way you win. I'm telling you how to stand on your 2 feet. Okay? Because they don't stand a chance next to you. They never did. And that's why they shaking in their motherfucking boots. That's why they had to disconnect you from your magic so that they could use your magic against you. That's why they had to tell you that other spirits outside of Jesus is demonic so that they can hoard your energy through you pouring your energy into Jesus. But on top of that, they weaponizing your spirits against you. And because the spiritual world and the physical world are intrinsically connected, those spirits need energy. And since we're not engaging with them, they have to get their energy from them. And they are kind of neutral, but those spirits, our elevated ancestors, they are tired of working with them. They want to work with you. If you stand up back in your position, you join that group I just put in there, you stand back in your position, they'll come and rally behind you before they go over there and fuck with them. But you can't be in a place of fear. And you got to know your worth. You are the divine deity in this reality. They're divine deities in the spiritual world. You are the divine deity in this reality. You have to remember your divinity. And you have to recognize that this is a sacred energy exchange. It is an equal relationship. I give you physical energy. You help move shit for me in the spirit. That's it. But they got you shaking in your fucking boots about your birthright because they stealing your spiritual inheritance. Stop letting them steal your shit. Stop letting them steal your shit. You don't need a book. It's in you. It's not on you. Okay? It's in you. It's not on you. You never needed a plant, a herb, or nothing because you are earth in motion. If you want to work with the spirit of the plants, fine. But understand that when you're doing a spell, you are working with the roots. You are asking the spirit of those plants to help you. And the candle is the offering to the spirit of those plants. But if you just put a whole bunch of plants on a plate and light a candle, you don't know what the fuck. You don't understand that you are asking the spirits to rally behind you, that you are raising the spirits, and that you also could raise your ancestors, raise the dead, because they're raising the dead against you right now. And that's why they tell you, because Saturn is death. Feminine energy is death. It is darkness. It is what happens when you empty, right? Feminine energy is so transformational because in order for you to figure out who you actually are, you got to remove all the material shit. And so when you go through a death cycle, you are emptying your cup because you need to see what's left when all this other shit is taken away. That's the real you. And then when you see the real you, you move from a different truth. And that's how you keep growing and evolving. But they got you spiritual bypassing. They got you living through your mind. Because if you spiritual bypass, you never grow. But then they're going to give you technology and make it seem like you're growing. Creating the illusion that you're growing. When technology is only mimicking you. Technology is the Antichrist. It is anti-you. Fuck Christ is anti-you. Because you start becoming dependent on it so much so that you can't even rely on your own fucking instincts. You can't even rely on your own instincts. Because you're using the technology. They want to replace your intuition. That's what AI is. Because it creates the illusion that you're growing and evolving. You go into something and you getting the answer, just how they did with school. You go somewhere and they give you the motherfucking answer. Why? Because they're telling you don't need your internal truth. You need external truth. You need my truth over your truth. Don't let them fucking do that shit. You get to have a relationship with spirit outside of them. Chat GPT. Yeah, AI. That's what I was talking about. Chat GPT. That's a replacement for your intuition. And what they're doing with the water, the water holds the memory. They're extracting the memory from the water and placing it into their own false god. The all-knowing is what they're trying to create. You don't get to fucking do that shit on my watch. I collapse all that shit. I'll burn it all the fuck down. Okay? This is a place where you are going to suffer because that's just how a part of it, the death cycle. You have to go through it. We are so afraid of the uncomfortable. You better figure out what the fuck's worth suffering for you. I'm convinced it's to power the underworld. No, we are from the underworld. They are the upper world. Listen, listen, hold on. Let me give y'all the chart again. They tell you this is the sun, this is the moon, this is the black sun. This is Saturn, the black sun. This is the regular sun. This is the moon. This is the Messianic signal. You live here. You are the upper world because you come from here. You came up here. You ascended into this energy. You got to descend again, which is getting back in your body, because when you ascended into the mind. Yeah, get comfortable being uncomfortable, because the only time that you can have comfort is if you're not moving. The only time that you could be comfortable is if you're not moving. And we've traded in comfort for evolution. We think comfort is evolution. No, it means you're not moving. What's supposed to be changing is your mindset. If they can keep your mindset the same, and if they can feed you all the same truths, which is a society, we're all surrounded around the same truth, they can control you. You don't need to be in a society. You need to be in a reality. A reality is personal to you. It's about your own specific truth, not a collective truth, your own specific truth. That's what you're aligning with. Checkmate. And so how do things make you feel? Stop deprioritizing how you feel because you're trying to show up for another motherfucker. That's self-abandonment. That's self-betrayal. It is not your job to fix, save, and heal other people. It's your job to fix, save, and heal yourself, which comes from you stop judging yourself. Stop living in this place of shame. There ain't shit shameful about you. The only thing that's shameful is that they told you that it's shameful to be you. They keep reiterating to you that you're worth nothing. And you believe in their projection because they feel worthless. They feel inadequate. This all happened because of womb envy. They hate that we are the connection to the divine. They hate that we are source embodied. They want to be source embodied. And so they created a whole system to inflate their motherfucking ego, where they can avoid accountability. They can spiritual bypass through other people, specifically through women. Because we alchemize their pain, because there's no separation between us and source. Source is the healer, the life bringer, and the destroyer. Exactly. So, yeah, maybe if we start hating shit would change. But they don't want you to hate because they said that's what makes you a sinner, while they sin all up and through your face. Come on now. They lying. Yeah, at least pinch a bitch. Fight back. Something. Like, get your ass up. But they got you in a state of chronic shame and fear. Shame distorts your reality and it disrupts the truth. If you feel shame, you won't speak up because you're afraid of being judged. If you're living in a place of fear, you won't move because you're afraid of failing. Those are the weapons formed against you. You need to understand that. Those are the weapons formed against you. Yeah, don't judge yourself, because if they can get you to judge yourself, they don't need to do it. They literally have created a system where you're fighting your own mirror. It's like you in the house of illusions. You walk into the house of illusions, it's a bunch of mirrors. The mirrors are showing you, but you like a cat in the mirror. You see yourself and you start hunching your back and you start punching the mirror and you think the mirror is the fucking problem. You think the experience is the problem when it's trying to show you what you need so you can move like you're supposed to be moving. I talked about that yesterday. So anyway, 2:04 on the clock, 204 people in the chat. 12:04 at the time. Hold on, let me look up what that means. What's the 2:04? What y'all want us to know? Why would that appear in 3 places at one time? That's insane. 2:04 is a positive message from the universe emphasizing balance, patience, hard work, and divine support. It combines the energy of 2, partnership and harmony, 0, spiritual potential, and infinity, and 4, stability and foundation, urging you to trust the process and stay committed to your goals. The general guidance, it signals that you are on the right path and that your diligent efforts are being supported by the angels. It encourages you to maintain a positive attitude, take action, and trust in divine timing for long-term success. Promotes trust, patience, and harmony. Leads to stability and abundance. Reminds you to maintain holistic balance between the physical, mental, and spiritual wellness, and your spiritual well-being. Spiritually, it encourages deepening your connection with the divine feminine, trusting your intuition and recognizing that you are protected and guided. Now, if that ain't a motherfucking message, I don't know what is. All right, y'all. If y'all are in the group, we are doing some work today at 5:40 my time, so 7:40 Central, 8:40 Eastern time, and that is to protect the womb, which is going to be the water womb, the void womb, the fire womb. If you want to stand up for yourself and your lineage, I would suggest that you join. I put the link in there. I'll put the link here again. If y'all want to join, just make sure when y'all come in, y'all say something in the group, because if you don't say anything in the group, they are going to flag you as a bot. So I'm going to post this on YouTube as soon as I get done, and I'll put the link in the YouTube, but it's also on my yesterday's YouTube as well. Have you seen the whistleblower story about the OBGYN? No, but we ain't even supposed to tell me. Wait, what's going on? Thank you, baby. Thank you, Amy. Yes, that's it, Amy. So she just dropped the, let me pin it so y'all can see it. Oop. Wait. Yeah, that's the group. Yes, the full live will be on YouTube. I suggest you go watch it because I started off with the shit that was pissing me off. I was going to tell my personal story with this, but Spirit told me I don't owe y'all that. I owe y'all the truth that I get from the story, not the actual story. And that made me feel a little bit more confident because I was about to have to tell y'all some shit. Ain't no shame in my game, though. Ain't no shame in my game. Let's be clear. However, I was going to have to let y'all see me a little bit because I could, I was like one of those people that if you think shit is funny, I think shit is hilarious. I ain't never been one of those women who's been like impressed easily by men. No. Mm-mm. Have you ever been in a room with me? I grew up around all boy cousins. Ain't shit impressive sometimes over there. So, but yeah, go back and watch the beginning of the live. I suggest watching it on YouTube because I'm showing y'all the actual, like I did some drawings so that y'all could see what I was talking about, so y'all can have the imagery, because I think it helps if you have the visual, of like what's happening. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, go watch the version on the YouTube. And it's in the Becoming No One playlist. Now, I know, friend, not too much on y'all, but yeah. And so, the humiliation ritual, it didn't go very well because I just traumatized your ass back, bitch. You lucky I couldn't get to your daddy because that would have been a whole nother story. That would have been a whole nother story. That Scorpio moon be Scorpioing. What's the story about the OBGYN though? Tell me. Real gangsters moving silence. You thought you was fucking funny, bitch. I will have your ass cackling for days. Oh, they blocking your comment. No. Bastards. Wait, hold on. Is there a way for me to get them back though? Hold on. Oh shit, friend. They are attaching devices. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you know how when they I have a little bit of information. So you know how when they say that they are clamping off some of your tissue, a lot of times they're sticking in a device, a tracking device. And I honestly feel like that's minimizing diseases. There it goes. Okay, cool. I honestly feel like, and so like women are like, when they up in there, doing what we be doing, they are feeling like lumps of like, whatever. But yeah, yeah. Which makes me think about when I was in college, y'all. I listen. When you are somebody who is chosen, when you come in, you give off a spiritual energy. Okay, I came through a portal, uh, Norfolk, Virginia, on a day that Neptune was stationed direct, which is a huge, powerful portal. Okay, a water portal. Them people be knowing when you coming because they can see through the looking glass, like they could see who's coming, you know. And so when I was a baby, I almost died. Okay, I was only a couple weeks old. I came out and I couldn't breathe, and that usually tells you that the women in your lineage held a lot of grief that they cannot deal when you have asthma, right? And so I almost died. My dad was in the Navy at the time. Okay, and what's crazy is my dad has this tattoo of Zeus, who is the real devil, Zeus, on his arm with me and my brother's name inside of a chain, which is insane. But I almost died. My mama took me to the hospital. I have the memory of this. And I was only 3 weeks old. I have the memory of this. I know exactly what happened because I told it back to my mom and she's like, how the fuck do you know that? And I'm like, because I remember. I remember it was traumatizing. Right. And so I almost died. She took me to the hospital. They took me from my mama and they folded me and they stuck a needle in my back. Right now, as I am alchemizing the energy that's in my spine, that's the area where I'm struggling the most. Okay. When I went to college, I was an athlete. Um, they made all the athletes, which really I feel like they were just telling the black girls, get on birth control because the year before they had a girl come in on the team and she ended up getting pregnant and they spent all of their scholarship money on this girl and she ended up getting pregnant. And so they told me I had to be on birth control and I was like, no, I'm not even having sex. Like that doesn't make sense for me. And it was like, it's to fix your iron. And so I talked to my auntie. My auntie said, a lot of my family is in healthcare. And so my auntie was like, no, you should really do it. Like you're in college, whatever. Yeah, for my iron, they put me on birth control. So they put me on Depo, which is the shot. And you don't realize that some of these vaccines or boom boom pops are genetic weapons, right? And so they put me on that. And I was on my cycle for 3 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, but y'all need to like figure this out. And so they was like, oh, we're going to have to go inside of you. And then I said, well, I'm a virgin. You're not supposed to put that inside of me. Like the thing that cranks open, like you can't do that to a virgin because you would break their hymen. They did it anyways. And they took tissue out, like a tissue sample out. And then it was like, oh, maybe we just need to change it. And then so they had a student come in and give me a progesterone only birth control, but they didn't tell me I still had a month left on Depo. And so I was taking 2 birth controls at one time. I became extremely depressed, like to the point where I could not get out of my bed. I literally was just staring at the ceiling. I lost like 50 pounds. I was so depressed. That semester I got like a 1.7 GPA. I quit the track team. It was like I was so out of my body. I was not myself. And not only that, I lost my virginity during that time too, because I had a guy who was in my life who was like, that was coercion. It was basically like, I'm a man, I have needs. Like you need to either be having sex with me or I'm never gonna talk to you. Like that type of shit. And I fell for that shit because I had friends around me who was just like, what are you waiting out for? And all of this shit, handlers. That shit wasn't even, that shit was 2 minutes. I could have did that myself. But anyways, I was so fucking depressed and out of my body. And I was fighting like literally every motherfucking day. Nobody could say nothing to me. And that's why I be telling y'all, I come to y'all humbly because I've not been a perfect person on this journey. Like I think I fucked it up so many different times and I've acted outside of myself and in a violent and aggressive way because I didn't know how to process anything. Because I have been traumatized since the moment I got here. Like by 4, I was sad. I was sad and depressed at 4 years old. What the fuck could have possibly happened? Sexual abuse and things like that. But y'all, listen, Sometimes those of us who have experienced a great amount of trauma, it is because you are from the dark. You have to remember yourself. You remember yourself through the dark. Okay. I realized that the same intensity I kept running from is the intensity that I actually like. I like intensity. I like to feel things different, deeply. That's what makes you feel alive. I like that shit. But I was running from it because I'd only ever associated it with bad things. You know, I told you I have a weird relationship with pain. It don't be feeling like pain to me. It be feeling like pain to y'all. But to me, there's something weird going on in my head. It's the Scorpio moon. It's the Scorpio moon. You know? And so just like, I eat that shit for breakfast. When they sending these entities at me in my dreams, graping me in my sleep, all shit like that, like, bitch, shooting me in my head, because they be shooting me in my head, y'all. They be trying to get me the fuck up out of here. Baby, you ain't doing nothing. It just makes me more powerful because I'll be like, oh, so you want to play? Oh, you think you about to play? Great. Don't threaten me with a good time, bitch. Because I was built for this shit. Some of us are built for that shit. We are shadow walkers. We are what was sent. We are what was sent. And that's why it's important you use your voice. It don't matter what it is you got to say. Say that shit. Say that shit. You are allowed to get it wrong. Them keeping you in this place of worrying about whether or not you're getting it wrong, that shame is disrupting your ability to speak your truth. Just say it. All right, I gotta go because the session is happening at 5 and my spirit team, I'm finally through the dark. I cannot be touched. Here's the thing too. Y'all gotta understand, you're not chosen because you go through dark shit. That's not what makes you chosen. What makes you chosen is that the spirits choose you. The spirits choose you based on your integrity and your commitment to the truth. If you do not let them break you, then the spirits will choose you. But the spirits haven't chose you just because you're going through a dark time. You go to www. Oh, how do I get on your session? Somebody drop the link in the chat for me. Okay. But you're not chosen just because you're going through something dark, just because everybody's rejecting you. Yes, that's a signal that you are probably somebody who comes from the dark, somebody who alchemizes pain into, thank you. But you're not chosen until you choose yourself. You're the one who's choosing. You choose yourself, then the spirits choose you. The moment you choose yourself and you start alchemizing that pain into power, the spirits will come in and say, oh, this one we got to protect because she has a purpose that is ordained. Okay? When you can become a vessel for the truth to move through, you can unlock gifts that have been buried and have been hidden from those who wish to distort the truth. Okay? But you got to show up for yourself first. You got to show up for you first. You got to choose you regardless first. That's the choosing. You choose you, then the spirits look at you and like, this girl just won't fucking quit. All right, fine. Let's protect her. Let's see what the fuck she do. Because she's sent. Yes, us 1 and 2. Yeah. So you got to understand that. You're not chosen just because you in this dark place. That means you got an opportunity to be chosen, but you got to choose yourself. And it can't be coming from this distorted ass place. We are compassionate beings first. Our darkness protects our light, which means boundaries. We need boundaries. We need to be speaking our truth, regardless of whoever the fuck can receive it or perceive it or what the fuck ever. Right? It's an opportunity, but you got to walk through the fucking tunnel. Most of us don't want to walk through the tunnel. We want to blame somebody else. We want to put it somewhere else. We want somebody else to be responsible. No, you got to where you are in life because of the choices that you continue to make. Are there external forces? Yes, but that's the 10%. You still get to choose. And you keep choosing against yourself because you're trying to please somebody. You're trying to be received or you're trying to belong or whatever the fuck. And I know I'm not speaking from a place of somebody who didn't go through that process. I did go through that process. I tried to be the good girl. I cared about the simple things that simple people care about. And then I realized, why am I doing this? Is it because I actually feel this way or because somebody else told me to feel this way? Turns out it's because of conditioning and subtle programming. Disney did a number on us with the fairy tales. You think somebody's supposed to be coming to save you, to complete you, or whatever the fuck. But that's all a part of the trap. When you choose truth, that's how you break out of the matrix. And you cannot give a fuck whether or not they can receive your truth. It is not your job to make them understand it. It is not your job to make them understand you. Because your worth is not contingent upon them understanding you and them seeing you. Your worth was already given to you. You can't come here if Earth does not deem you worthy, because Earth pulls from a collective field of consciousness based off of what we need, and then she brings that here. And so if you are here, it is because you were worthy. But we're too busy living and staying in this place of suffering. Too many of us are drowning and don't know how to come up for air. It's easy. Swim back to the top where you could breathe. Get out of the environments where you feel like you can't fucking breathe. Get out of the environments that are telling you to be less than yourself. Get out of the environments that are telling you to shrink in order for you to be received. The truth is, you are too much. Get the fuck around people who see you as being too much. Go get a motherfucker with some bigger hands. Go get somebody with a bigger capacity. And stop trying to force people who do not want to see you to see you. That's it. But most of us think we can't have it. Most of us think we can't have it. We've never seen it. You change your environment and you change the people. That's how you keep moving. That's how you see. You have to practice. You have to try something new. If those people are not seeing it, that's fine. Leave them behind. Go create a new reality. Go get around different people. You have to keep trying, though, because the moment that you quit, you're standing in place. Okay? You have to keep trying. You have to keep putting yourself out there. You cannot protect yourself from pain without protecting yourself from happiness. You came here to have a human experience, which means that you have to feel it all. You don't get to just say, I want to only feel the joy. You are missing another part of the experience, the part of the experience that causes you to grow and evolve and to transform. And when you go through that dark tunnel, and when you do transform, there's so much fucking beauty in that. There was so much beauty in me looking at the things that came to destroy me and me saying, there's a part of me that needs me that I'm not showing up for, because there would be no reason or no way for you to attach to me if there wasn't a part of me I was abandoning. And so the little things you kept putting in my ear to make me run away from myself, I went straight towards myself, because whatever that is needs to be healed. It needs to know that I see you, I love you, and I'm sorry you didn't get the love that you needed at that time. I stopped and I put awareness on myself. And every single time they fell away. They fell off. They fell off. And it required patience, because I told you that one of my friends, who has been an entry point for a lot of things to come into my life, I'm now seeing, she had a sex demon on her, and that motherfucker hopped on me and was humping me for a while. And it was the most degrading thing I've ever experienced. And we would be arguing in my head. We'd be arguing in my fucking head. But I had to be patient, and I had to keep trying until I found out what the solution was. It's through me figuring that situation out, and a lot of other situations, because I also had somebody put a tracker into me. And that was government. Okay. All I did was have to find the pain point. And so I kept looking until I found the pain point. And then I removed the pain point, and I removed everything else. It taught me discernment, and it taught me refinement. Now you just teaching me your game. Everything you send at me, you just teaching me your game. Because now I get to study you from the inside, because I lived it under tension. That's what it means to live. You don't know what's true until you live it under tension. The reason why I have access to this information is because I refused to let them take away the human experience from me. You don't get to say that I don't get to feel, because feeling is the only way I know how to move through the darkness. Feeling is your birthright. Feeling is how you get to your truth. You have to know that. Okay? Don't let them spiritual bypass to you through you. You get to say no. Silence is consent. Silent acquiescence. That's what that's called. They do it all the time with the law. If you don't respond to their demands for money or payment, they can lock you up because you chose silence, you accepted it. Speak the fuck up and say no with your whole being. I am unavailable to this. We don't even know. All you do is got to tell your womb that you are unavailable to carry a child. We think we got to do something. We got to take a fucking pill. It's because you don't understand your own power. All you do is have to say no. Your no is sacred, just like your yes. But we around here throwing it around all willy-nilly because we don't know who we are, because we forgot. But now it's time for you to remember. And I'm going to do my part at helping you with that. Okay? I'm going to do my part. I love y'all. I'll see y'all later. This will be on YouTube and it'll be on my podcast. Give me about 40 minutes to get it on my podcast if you prefer it that way, but it'll be on YouTube immediately. Okay? I want y'all to have an amazing weekend. Today's a great day for protection, so clean your home, clean your space, talk to the spirit of your home, because the spirit of your home has a vested interest in keeping your home safe. Tell the spirit of your home, I will keep you clean if you make sure no negative energy comes through these doors or these windows. Okay? Yes, it does. All right, y'all. Have an amazing rest of your day. If you are going to be in the group later, I will see you then. We're doing collective work to take back our power. Okay? All right. Okay, love you. Bye.